and you are welcome in. You're welcome in this place.
Welcome back. We are MentorMe Memorable Moments, and I am your host, Tracy Everette Duncan.
And I'm your co-host, William Craig III.
And actually, you know what? We have a couple of guests with us that we're going to be introducing later on, too. If you are attached to us or connected with us on social media, then you know that we have Dr. Renee Sunday, who is an MD, who's going to be talking to us about grief and loss, pushing past the pain.
Oh, my goodness.
In the first segment. And in the second segment, we have Keva Sturdivant with us, who is a financial advisor.
Part of the financial force.
Yes, we are. Yes, we just kind of coined that today. Yes. So this is your financial health segment. And again, welcome to MentorMe Memorable Moments. You are probably viewing us through Listen Vision Studios, which is hosted on WLVS Radio. And that's through either listenvisionlive.com or our very own website, mentorme411.com.
Right. And to all of you in 135 nations around the world and all 50 states across these United States, welcome. Welcome.
So you know what? Let's get into Dr. Renee. And I know that she is on the phone. Dr. Renee, we've got a little video that we want to introduce you with. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, well, what we're going to do first is just run a little video so that we can warm our viewers up to exactly who Dr. Renee Sunday, MD, is.
You guys, you know, I am Dr. Renee Sunday. Yes, I am the host of Good Deeds Radio and Television Show. I just wanted to come to you to really from my heart to let you know a little bit about myself. Yes, I'm always energetic, and let me tell you why. Because God is my master. He is my salvation. He is my light. He is my everything. But let me let you know, the Sunday family. I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. Yes, to the wonderful Mr. and Mrs. William Sunday. Yes, I had a Christian background. I went to church. I went to Sunday school. I went to basic training, you know, BTU. You don't know nothing about that nowadays. I was actually in the choir, the usher board. I was a secretary of the Sunday school. And I really enjoyed doing all that. I was in all the plays, the Christian, you know, Christmas, Easter. And, you know, I even wrote a play called Teen Pressure. You know, so I really enjoy helping people. I really enjoy helping our brothers and our sisters. I went to school for 13 years to be an anesthesiologist. And my whole part in God's plan was to help people relax, to bring joy, to pray with them, whatever God led me to do with them. Yes, I did that for 14 years. I still do it now part-time. But actually, you know, I lost my job not once, but twice. In 2011 of April, my brother, he passed away. My lonely brother, William Sunday Jr., I love to deal with. It actually was a big adjustment with my family. Yes, it was. I mean, my mom, my dad, my sister, his family, his wife, his kids, all of us grieve differently, okay? And that's important to remember. We are different. But let me tell you, we bonded together as a family. And we've always done that if things come up. When difficult situations come up, the bond of the family is very important. But guess what? When I lost my job the second time, I actually had that meditation time more because I was at home, okay? And you know, my relationship with God grew stronger, okay? Sometimes you just gotta sit down and just be with Him. You know, I'm a platform builder. And it was just so awesome again to be in the presence with Oprah Winfrey with that, because that's what I am here is to help people get their message out, their vision, their dreams, the reason that they actually are here on earth right now. I'm also a published author of a Sunday Grief MD, and I have a publishing company and a motivational speaker. So I do a lot of things, but you know what? God aligns each one of those, and I give him all the honor and glory. And number two, God puts the right people in my path that actually makes this sweatless. And that's the most important thing. Put him first, and everything else will work out. But we wanted to take a little time to know what Dr. Renee Sunday is all about. But you know what I always say? 3 things. Believe, trust, and walk it out.
Dr. Sunday. Wow. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Tracy and William. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, my goodness. Now, that clip just kind of wrapped Dr. Sunday up.
I'm tired already. I'm tired just walking through your story.
Wow, you have accomplished a lot.
Yes.
Dr. Sunday.
I was laughing because I said, I can really talk, can I?
I tell you, and everyone, if you go and visit her website, my goodness, she really has demonstrated some excellence in a lot of areas. But Dr. Sunday, now that we have you on our program, we just want to ask a couple of questions, definitely in the area of grief and loss, because you are a specialist in that field. And I wanted to let everyone know that you and I kind of joined and met over Keisha Lewis's, which is AKA Keisha Rocks, her big conference back in 2014, where you were one of the speakers or instructors. And you were dynamic then, and I had to connect with you. But my question
is, Keisha is amazing.
Yes, she is. Yes, she keeps it going. And I mean, if anyone out there needs to know about social media, you need to connect with Keisha Rocks. Yes. But Dr. Sunday, this is such a sensitive area for anyone to be walking through, let alone talk about. So you had to have lived through something, and we caught in your intro that your brother had passed away, and that had affected your life. Was his death or his passing the reason why you are on this path?
Yes, exactly. He actually was 37 years old. It was a traumatic death. He actually was talking, giving a presentation at his college, and he just passed out. And they revived him, but when he went to the hospital, he actually passed away from what's called a ruptured abdominal aneurysm, which in a nutshell is the major vessel in your body. He actually had a hole in it, and that's from hypertension, stress, and all that kind of stuff that we all need to try to control.
Yes, excellent. Oh, so this was not planned. It was not expected. Did you think that he was sick or ill at all?
No, I saw him personally 2 weeks prior to that, and he actually texted me saying that he loved me, he was proud of me, all of that the night before. So it was a shock to all of us. He went to school, and then he actually didn't make it back home, actually.
Oh, my. And so after his death and after the funeral, what were you going through?
Well, actually, all of our family, which is a Christian-based family, we supported each other, and all of us had different phases of the grief process. Me personally, of course, I had to pick the one that when I was eating food, I gained weight. The rest of my family actually lost weight. Oh. And and in the book, that's what I try to focus on, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual, because that's what the majority of most people go through. I mean, you'll say you don't question God, but you do question God. Why did this happen? And you always have to say why it didn't happen, because you're not a special person that things can't happen. But I actually went through the doubt process. I went through the denial. I went through eating a lot of stuff that I didn't want to eat, the physical part. But what kept us together was the spiritual foundation we have with our family and the support of our family and friends.
So, William,
Yes.
when I was looking at Dr. Sunday's information, I noticed that she had spoken about the emotional, the spiritual,
Right.
the physical. All those things happen that changes the body during that death or that grieving period. So, Dr. Sunday, how long did it take you? And it's such an ignorant question to ask because we really never do get over it. But how long before you could pass through the pain and get a grip on what was going on?
Well, I had to be real with myself. As you mentioned earlier, Tracy, I am an anesthesiologist, and my patients kind of say a little cliche saying that, when we put a patient to sleep, it's pretty much one patient just said yesterday, that's the closest a lot of people will actually get to God. And I was like, wow. But I actually knew I had to take off. I took off a whole month, and I'm not saying I was totally healed in that month,
Right.
but I actually had a grip on my outwardly emotions that I couldn't, that I didn't want to cry, continuously, that I knew in my heart, especially from the text that my brother sent me, that he wanted me to enjoy life. He wanted me to, he was proud of me, and he wanted it to continue in the path that God has given me. So actually, most of the family took off a whole month, and we just embraced each other, made sure everyone was doing the daily activities. But if you look at the literature, a lot of my colleagues, they say if you're really not back to your normal, and that quote normal is in quotations because, it's a new normal for a lot of people.
Right.
If you really want to hurt yourself, if you want to hurt somebody else, you need to seek medical attention quickly. But you still have that hole, if you will, for almost a year. Most people, and I've talked to people, it's 10, 12 years.
Right.
That they still have that hole inside.
That's right. That's right. So then can we safely say that you may never get over it, but you just learn how to deal with it a little more, a little better?
Yeah, that's yes, because you have to have support. It helps a lot. In my case, that's how we got to the book, that I journaled. I wrote down my feelings, and that actually was able to help other people that's going through something similar when they have a grief experience. And so it's like the old saying say, you won't forget. You still will have, when holidays come, you miss that person being there.
Right.
But that comfort feeling, and I say in the book, it's a light bulb experience when you realize that your family member, your loved one, they want you to enjoy life, and they want you to walk out your purpose in life. So that actually helps you to move forward in the process.
I remember reading something also, if you could just comment on this. It says from your website, everyone has purpose. Everyone has a calling. Everyone has a reason to be on earth right now. A lot of people are asking, why was I created? They want to know his or her grand purpose in life. Talk to us about the grand purpose in life and how it relates to getting past the pain of grief and loss.
And that's a great question, Tracy and William, because that's what happened to me. And I know a lot of people have reference to this, T.D. Jakes, and I've heard Steve Harvey recently say, when you have something bad happen in your life, somebody pass away, you lose your home, you lose your job, guess what? It's usually greater comes after that. You actually birth or a breakthrough, as people say. But people now in general in the world don't have hope.
Right, that's
so
right.
we have to realize that we still here for a reason. We still here because we're part of the ultimate process, the ultimate goal and purpose in life. One person it may be to be a hair care professional, one to be media, the wonderful things you guys are doing here, Tracy and William. It could be someone loves to talk.
Dr. Renee.
That's what I tell people. It's whatever you do with very little effort. That is what your passion is. And when you actually water that passion, guess what? You're going to just tumble. You're going to just propel into your actual purpose in life.
Can I just jump in there real quick? Because what I recently have gone through this and I'm still going through it. My mom passed away, and we buried her just before Mother's Day, the day before Mother's Day, which was, just really sideways for her, for so many of us in the family. But here's the thing. I have found, and you talk about the passion piece, but I have linked up with destiny. And what it has said to me through her passing, it has brought me so much closer to understanding what my destiny is and how I need to walk out my destiny. And again, that came through, just like you, taking off the time, about a month or so, to just really reflect on what she had deposited in me, the good times, and to cry but it brought me to a place where I said, okay, why am I here? What is it that I'm supposed to do? And it's just amazing how death will do that to you. It helps you to see your mortality and say, hey, you know what? Before I leave this earth, there's something I need to accomplish. And that in itself is part of the healing process, I found.
Yes. Dr. Sunday?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Let me ask this question because, dealing with human death is one thing, but people also have pets that they love.
Yes.
And I loved my pet. He passed 3 years. And if you get me to talking about him, I'll be blubbering all over this table because he was so much attached to me and me to him like family. I was there when he took his last breath. So I have a visual of all of these things. I'm still processing through this. Talk to the people out there, the viewers who have pets that they have lost and they have just not pushed through that pain.
Well, the first thing you said something wonderfully, and it's all types of grief. I actually had to find out, my brother passed, and I hate to say it, within, 9 months, I lost my job. I went from 6 figures to 0 in 1 day. So that's a form of grief. And also when you lose your pet, I found out the reason I had so much trouble with my brother's passing because we did have 2 pets when I was younger pass away, and I never dealt with that process in the right way.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. So it's the same type of process when it's your pet, because that's someone that you love, someone you care for, and you need to take time off as well and get that support. And then one thing I try to tell people with pets, is try not to get the same pet.
That's right.
Because you cannot replace that pet by calling the same name and getting the same color. It's always best to get another type of pet, and of course change the name, because you don't want to try to replace them. You want to actually have a new relationship with the new pet that you actually going to have.
That is true.
That's great
true.
advice.
It is. Yeah, because I've been struggling with that, and I thank you personally for that. But we're coming to a wrap up of your segment.
Wow.
Can you tell us, why do we need to get your book?
Well, I want to thank you so much, Tracy and William, for this opportunity. But I think the reason I enjoy, and so many people have told me that they really enjoy the book, it's called Sunday Grief MD, because it actually is a roadmap. So many grief books go out there and tell you about the different stages of grief, which we need to know that. But the thing is, you need to have a roadmap. What do I do on this day? What do I do on this day?
Right.
What can I do to move forward? What's some resources I can use? What's some literature I can use? So I use my family initially in the first chapter to kind of be a roadmap, to tell you what each one of us kind of went through. But the rest of the book is actually a resource that you can actually use on a daily basis to go through the grieving process. And not really, as we said, it's not really someone passing away, which that's what happened to me. But when I use those same resources, when I lost my job, and someone can use that when they lose their car, lose their home.
Yes.
But
Yes,
it's actually a great read, and it's not a lengthy book as most grief books are.
I heard nothing but rave reviews over this book.
That's great.
I am definitely going to get a copy.
That's great.
But now, Dr. Renee Sunday, please tell us how we can connect with you, because we don't want to let you go. So we are airing to 135 nations in all 50
right.
states, and they need to connect with you.
Well, thank you so much. The easy way to get in contact with me is go to our website, which is www.reneesunday.com, and all of our social media is there, from Twitter, Pinterest, of course, Facebook. The links are there, so you can go directly from there to there, and Instagram and all those things. If you want to go directly to our publishing company, that is www.sundaypublishingcompany.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so, I also want to let everyone know that Sunday Grief MD, your book, is available on Amazon.com, and they can purchase it there as well. So we do thank you for joining us here with Mentor Me Memorable Moments. We definitely want to have you back, because I want to talk about this Thrive in 365 community. I'm kind of excited about that. But Dr. Sunday, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tracy and William, for this opportunity.
Thank
Now,
you.
we're going to shift into our second segment, and we always make it available to the first segment to hang in there and stay online if you'd like and interact with the guests in the second segment. If not, then go right ahead and hang up, but we will be contacting you again on social media. Thank you very much.
Meet Henry and Wendy Jones. They have 2 children, Alex, who's 12, and Brianna, who's 8 years old. They live in a suburb just outside of Boston. They have a home, some money in the bank, and a small retirement plan. Like most people, they have a mortgage, car loans, some credit card debt, and Wendy's student loan. Wendy is worried about the family's future because her best friend Mary's husband just died unexpectedly without leaving a will or any kind of estate plan. Many of the assets were solely in her husband's name, leaving his wife Mary dealing with the burden and expense of the probate court. Without his income, Mary told Wendy she is unable to keep up with the bills and is now selling the family home. Wendy doesn't want this to happen to her or to her kids, and informs Henry that they must do something about it now. They scheduled a meeting with an estate planning attorney. At the meeting, he was able to show Wendy and Henry how to prevent what had happened to Mary from happening to them. He also raised issues that Henry and Wendy had never considered, like, do they have healthcare proxies? What if Wendy was in an accident and not able to make her own decisions? Would Henry be able to make medical decisions on her behalf? Have they set up durable powers of attorney so that Henry would be able to refinance the house to pay the medical bills? What if both of them died in an accident? Is it spelled out in their will who would be the guardian of Alex and Brianna? And how a revocable family trust will manage the money for their minor children and designate at what ages they should receive it. He also discussed how everything could be done without a prolonged and expensive court involvement. As part of an estate plan, they incorporated life insurance policies as a way to deal with the debt and loss of income. Henry and Wendy now rest easy knowing that they've protected each other if one of them is ill or dies, and have protected their children through the trust, should something happen to both of them. Their estate planning attorney made the process easy to understand. They feel more confident and in control of their family's future. Contact an attorney at Simmons & Schiavo today to learn about the different estate planning documents and devise a plan that works best for you.
Well, somebody got a shout out.
Indeed. And free is always good. I can hear them saying it now. But welcome back. And we are so happy to be able to kick off this segment with a young lady who we believe is going to be such a blessing to you, to provide you with some powerful information that's going to really, I think, stabilize your future in so many ways. And I'm talking about none other than Ms. Keva Sturdivant.
Welcome.
Yes,
Thank
welcome
you,
to
William.
Mentor
Thank you,
Me
Tracy.
Memorable Moments.
I appreciate you guys inviting me out.
Hey, well, we're so happy that, number one, that you're here and that you have this information to share. Now, just so you guys know, Keva she's a former financial advisor for Morgan Stanley Capital Investments. And so she's a heavy hitter, okay? Number two, she is the founder and president of KidSense, and we may get a little bit into that. But then foremost, she is a financial educator and financial advisor for her own practice, which is Sturdivant Investment Consulting. And if you would, please tell us just a little bit about those last two pieces. But we do want to hear a little bit about what you did with Morgan, too, because bottom line is we can't ignore that.
Right.
No, we cannot, William. You know, when I started my career at the big corporate conglomerates, you know, the Merrill Lynch, the Morgan Stanley, that's really where I got my best training, essentially, because I managed money for corporations. I managed money for very wealthy individuals that didn't look like us.
Okay.
And so I left my practice in 2008 and literally just started traveling and teaching at HBCUs, community centers, church basements, whoever would listen to me. And, you know, we really have to talk about money as a community because it's a taboo subject sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, it really
That's
is.
right. Mm-hmm.
And why do you think that is, first of all?
Yeah, well, okay, I'll speak from experience. I'm from the Midwest, blue-collar family. You know, a lot of my family worked in the factories, and we had no money to talk about. We were just trying to keep the lights on. The other piece is, you know, not everyone wants others to know how they're
That's
doing
right.
financially,
Yes.
you know, because if they know you got a little coin, as the
Right.
young
Yeah.
people say,
Right.
hey, they may hit you up for something.
Right.
So it's a very closely held subject. However, when we begin to open up to talk about money, that's when we begin to really make a positive difference in our financial journey.
That sounds great. And now here we go, because the other side of that is wanting to keep up the appearances, right?
Yes.
Of keeping up with the Joneses.
Oh boy,
Right.
you gonna make me
That's
you gonna make me
right.
preach now.
Okay.
So talk to us about what you are teaching to help us understand the difference between the perception of being financially healthy
Right.
and the reality of being financially healthy.
Yes, unfortunately, we are guilty of that. You know, I always say to my students or even my clients, everything I've told you not to do, I've probably done myself.
Sure.
I'm only human.
Right.
However, you know, I study the habits of self-made millionaires.
Okay.
Operative word, self-made millionaires. You know, they practice frugality, and we
Right.
don't like that word.
No.
We don't like the word budget. However, when I really, you know, would take a look at my wealthy clients, you would walk down the street and pass them and not even blink twice
That's
because
right.
they're just blending in. You know, it's not anything that sticks out. However, you know, there are individuals that are very materialistic, unfortunately. You know, and I'm not picking on DC, but it's a very wealth-driven, a very, you know, I'll just say a very, wealth-driven city. I'll just say
Okay.
that. However,
Okay.
but, you know, it's not always what is perceived, you know, living beyond the means, you know, driving the car you really can't afford. I always, you know, say to my clients, if your car payment is higher than how much you're contributing to your 401k, we need to talk.
Wow.
Right.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So do you find even today, with all the information that's available, that people are still kind of living depleted financial lives?
Well, yes, they are. And that's really, William, one of the reasons why I do what I do. Yes, I worked at those big fancy companies, you know, and that was great. However, I understood clearly that there was a niche out there of individuals that people with my expertise wouldn't even talk to.
Right.
And so my client base is the everyday working
Right.
person that can't walk into Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley.
Right.
Because they're starting from scratch. You
Right.
know, I don't mind talking about how to get your credit straight. I don't mind talking about, Keva, I just went through a divorce and I have nothing. That's when I get to go to work.
Right.
And it
Right.
brings me joy because having that client start from here and just hand holding them through this whole financial process and journey and educating them along the way and seeing the result just, it
I
just
tell you,
is
it's
so worth it.
rewarding. It is. It's
It is.
And
rewarding.
Tracy has done some awesome work in this area. And I think back, of course, to our work together at the Salvation Army.
Right.
And the transformations that you've seen in the lives of people. Can you talk to just a little bit about maybe a couple of the transformations that you've seen with some of the clients that you've worked with?
Absolutely. I remember working with this one particular client, single mom,
Okay.
a young 6-year-old son. Going back to what I said earlier, her car payment was almost $600. However, she told me in the meeting the priority was to send her son to college. We have no 529 plan. You've got, you know, $600 going to Mr. Lexus every month.
Okay, that was about to ask.
However, how much is going to the 529?
Right.
So when I essentially went through all of her finances, I said, you know, what you're telling me is not matching, you know, when I look at your cash flow. And that's when the light bulb started going off. You know? So you know what? She sold that car.
Okay.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah, she did.
good.
She sold it. She understood, you know, the priorities really need to match.
Why did she even
cash
buy
flow.
that car?
You know, that's a whole nother show, Tracy. It's nothing wrong with that. You know,
Right.
having the Lexus or the Mercedes or whatever it is, but there's a time and place for
That's
that.
right.
Exactly.
That's
You
right.
know, I talk about wealth a lot, and I talk about money a lot. And I get this question, well, what is wealth?
Okay.
Wealth, in my opinion, is not the Lexus. It's not the $1 million house.
Okay.
It's essentially when you have a large cash outlay that's an emergency, but it's really an inconvenience. It's not an emergency. That's when you know you're wealthy.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So in other words, if you can write a check with 5 zeros behind it and don't even sweat it,
Right.
you're wealthy.
You're wealthy. Yeah.
Did you have a
my.
question you want to jump in there?
Well, you know, I'm all about the root of it all, you know, and I heard some of your story, your personal story. Is that the driver and why you got into money management, financial management, and your success during the Morgan Stanley days and just being able to walk away from it tells me about your dedication to this.
Yes, this is a great question, Tracy. You know, when I was a child and when my parents we go to grocery store or whatever, I always had a calculator or a cash register with me.
My goodness.
Kid you not.
Really?
I loved working numbers as a child, so I knew I was going to do something with numbers.
Right.
And so when I came here 29 years ago, I'm telling my age, I thought, wow, I could build a career here. Because think about it, back in where I'm from, Ohio, it's not much going on. You know, I may have worked at a factory. And
Right.
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But coming here, being a minority and seeing other minorities doing well, I was like, oh no, I have got to stay here.
Okay.
So I've been here 29 years. So to get to your question, I started working for a financial planner here in D.C. And her client base was very wealthy. I am clear on this, William and Tracy.
Okay.
God put me in these highfalutin, as my grandma would say, places as a training ground to take what I know, this whole Wall
Beautiful.
Street,
Yes.
and deliver it to our community. I am clear on that, and I'm so good and comfortable with it.
That's great.
Okay, so you're at the
That's
top of your game and you turn around and you say, I'm resigning. And of course, people think you're crazy. You
Yes.
know? Okay, because
Yes.
you're leaving the money on the table.
Right.
But you go into the community. What was that first search like? That first class or that first solicitation to come and sit here and let me teach you financial literacy?
Yes. I have a really good story. You know, when you get a certain age like me, you got a story.
Got a few of them, right?
This is when I was showing up at churches, teaching classes in church basements. I'll never forget this. The church will remain unnamed.
Okay.
In D.C., Saturday morning, I pick up muffins and orange juice. I'm going to the church to teach a financial literacy class. I think it was credit or credit management, something like that. There was a big bus in front of the church when I got there, and I'm thinking, oh, wow, maybe I'm going to have a ton of people.
Oh, my goodness.
The bus was going to the casino.
Oh, my gosh.
So here I am with my muffins and orange juice. I'm walking into the church, go down to the basement. There's 2 people sitting there.
Oh, no.
The bus is full.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that was, really deflated me, but I said, Keva, you've got your work cut out for you. But it really made me work harder. It really did. Because I knew, this is a whole nother show. As a community, our whole connection and definition of money it needs to be shifted.
Yes,
Yes.
it does.
And so I'm doing that one client at a time, just shifting the approach and the mentality. We don't have to bling out. You know what I mean? It's a time and place
Oh
for
man,
that. Of
wait a
course.
minute. Tweetable. Bling out. No, burn out. Don't bling out.
There you go. There
Burn
you
out.
go.
Don't bling out.
Yeah. So it was stepping out on faith. And I've been doing this since 2008, and I just would not change a thing because I get to see the results.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in there changing one family at a time.
Yes.
Okay. And the family's growing now. And your organization is growing now. And what kind of changes are you seeing in the family and in the neighborhoods?
Yes. So a lot of my clients are asking me after I write their financial plans, Keva, talk to my kids.
Yes.
Talk to my kids about money. Because think about it. You know, we are in a swiping society. Plastic. And so the question is, Keva, when do I start talking about my child about money? The moment they ask for something at the store.
That's right.
Great.
I don't care what age they are. And so that's the teachable moment when you begin to teach them what's really key. Use cash when you're teaching your young people. Do not give them any plastic. Because the perception of money just gets connected to that card. And there's this just magical way that money gets on this card. No. Mom and dad goes to work. We get direct deposit. It goes, age appropriate. You explain that.
Right.
But when you honestly, and I'm a cash person. When, you're teaching your young person, the 20 and the 10 and the 5 and the 1, age appropriate, of course. If you're handing over a $20 bill to someone to pay, you're like, is this worth it? It's the mentality and just the psychology around money. And I talk about money a lot. Money has an energy. The more we respect our money, the more money comes to you.
That's right.
And let me ask you this on that, because I've heard it said that, especially when dealing with children and teaching them about money, that, for instance, when they ask for that thing at the store, that it's not about just saying, okay, Johnny, I'll buy you the thing at the store and here's what it costs, but, okay, Johnny, what are you going to do in return for getting the money to get the thing at the store? So you're teaching them about the value of money through saying, hey, you have to earn this stuff.
Gotta earn it.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm a big believer in chores. Did you grow up doing chores?
Yes.
Oh, I did. Vacuuming, dusting, that's the old school stuff, right?
That's right.
But that's how I earned my keep. And it's an excellent point, William. We have to connect that earning money piece. The money, you get the reward. And keep in mind, too, teaching our young people, when they get a $20 bill, let's say for their birthday, it doesn't have to all get to, one place, like the mall.
Right.
Put a little bit in savings, a little piggy bank in the bedroom.
Right.
Of course they're going to spend some of it. But what about giving back to the community?
That's right.
Wow. Yeah.
What about buying your children some stock? We stand in lines to buy Nike all day, every day.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
geez.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
Another show.
I teach that all the time. Own the stock before you buy the product.
Good stuff. Oh, there's another tweetable. Own the stock before you buy the product.
Yes.
Love it.
So we're looking now at families being able to have those open dialogues about money. Yes. Now, some people would say, why even try in the African American community to restore and rebuild? It's just going to get torn down again. Doesn't history repeat itself? Hasn't history repeated itself? So what can you tell communities out there that want to do this? I believe in keeping my dollars in my community. I will not shop outside my community unless what I want is not in the community.
Okay.
What can you say to communities?
So a big part of the family approach to money, I hold family meetings. And, sometimes my clients will say, Keva, I don't know how many are going to show up. I've had 2 people show up at a family meeting. It could be 20 or 25. The key is to start the dialogue around money with your family. Just set a time and a date. It could be every other month. On a Sunday at 7, we're meeting at Auntie so-and-so's house.
Right.
And we're going to have a family meeting around money. What is our family legacy going to be?
That's right.
Our financial legacy.
That's important.
How about starting a family foundation? That's what the self-made millionaires do.
Sure.
Okay.
And we gather every summer at our family reunions, right?
That's right.
That's where we can start the dialogue, too. I'm speaking at a family reunion next Saturday.
Oh, my gosh.
That's great.
That is a great idea.
Powerful stuff.
If you got a family reunion going on this summer, contact Keva.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, because we look at a couple of things. We just talked about grief with Dr. Sunday. And I know in having to bury my mother that it becomes a big issue just trying to bury a family member. And all of a sudden, you're trying to come up with the money to bury the person for whatever number of reasons that may happen. But the bottom line is, what I hear you saying is that by having these conversations, that becomes a non-issue.
It becomes a non-issue when you start talking about it. And actually, I just taught a class, William, and I was sharing this with Tracy earlier, on generational wealth. Wealth is a very powerful word, and there's a difference between wealth and rich.
That's right.
Okay,
Yes, it
we know
is.
that. in the African American community, we miss out on legacy planning, estate planning, passing on to future generations, and preparing for your no longer being here.
Right.
Having the proper insurance coverage. I don't sell insurance, okay? But I talk about insurance a lot.
Okay.
It's vital. It is the mark that we miss when it comes to preparing for, our passing on. So our future generations can inherit a chunk of money when we're no longer here. But the thing is, you can write it where you're controlling your will or your trust. You're controlling that money from the grave, as they say. Such a morbid term. But, it's your money, so you can distribute it however you want and put a ton of stipulations. Unfortunately, insurance isn't a big deal sometimes in families that I talk to. Like, why do I need insurance?
Oh, my goodness.
But here's part of the problem, too, is as I recently found out, and I heard this from someone else recently, that we buy the wrong types of insurance.
Yes.
And so by the time it's needed, it's worthless.
Yes.
So having a financial plan in place helps me to understand all of the mechanisms that we need to have in place as a family so that if mom or big mama or whatever you call it, if they do transition unexpectedly or not, there's something in place to help take care of A, whether or not they get buried properly, or B, even for the kids that may be left behind so that they can go to college.
Right, exactly.
Can you talk to that?
Yes. So you want to set up your final wishes. I'll say your will or your trust, preferably a trust because it doesn't have to go through probate. When you pass, you can build into your insurance policy enough money so maybe $50,000 goes into a trust for the family.
Wow.
Right.
And you can essentially have, and it sounds very scrubbed, but this is just the way to do it, have the family foundation set up, and individuals have to apply to receive
Oh, that's a good
scholarship
idea. Yeah.
from the family fund.
Yes.
And everyone takes a vote. And I talked about that on yesterday, actually.
Oh, my.
Yeah,
my.
it's so important. But again, having the conversation. And let me just share this really quick. You made me think of something, William. The 3 insurances everyone needs, absolutely, is disability insurance when you're working, of course, right?
Yes.
What you need to be clear on is what amount of your income will be replaced through your employer.
Okay.
Most times it's only 60%.
That's
and
right.
people don't find out until they have to use
That's
it.
right.
Wow.
Who can live on 60% of their income?
Right.
Most people.
We're struggling on 100%.
We're struggling. That's a tweetable moment right there, too. That's a tweetable moment. But the other piece is, too, you want to have that supplemental disability insurance to bump up against. If you do have a life event, you need to be away from work.
Right.
Absolutely life insurance. I'm going there. And long-term care.
That's right. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And let me tell you why it's important. Again, if you have a medical event when you're, a little more seasoned in life, or you had major surgery, who wants to go to a nursing home? No one does. You want to be cared for in your home, essentially.
Yes.
Right.
And so that's where your long-term care comes in. Unfortunately, I've seen too many individuals that don't have the long-term care insurance, and they raid their 401ks.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
So long-term insurance, those are the 3 insurances that are just important.
I just
and vital.
got to say this because you made me think.
Yes.
Okay. So that all sounds great, Keva. I'm loving your conversation, but come on, girl, let's be real. My family can't afford to put together a family foundation. How in the world does that make sense for us?
Yes. So it makes sense because it's going to be a slow walk and a slow educational process. You just have to find the right person that's going to be patient enough to walk you through
That's
the process.
true.
Oh, my goodness. And I think we have that person
Oh,
here.
yes, we do. Where's the ding,
Thank
ding, ding, ding,
you.
ding?
Thank you. Again, the conversation has to start off light. It can't be heavy. Yes, Family Foundation sounds so fancy. But when we start, incorporating these words in our dialogue, you'll see a shift. You'll see a shift. It sounds fancy, I know. Why can't we say Family Foundation in the African American community?
Hello.
Right. That's right. Yes. Yes. Okay. So here is my issue, my concern.
Yes.
I do that. I do that well. I plan well. I tell my family, whether I'm dead or alive, you're going to be taken care of, right down to having the house note paid. But what my issue is that I have a son that is not interested in money management, but my grandchildren are interested in money management. It's like it skipped a generation.
Yes. Yes.
How can I protect the funds when they're minors against the ones who are older that may spend the funds?
Right. That's a wonderful question. I get that question a lot. It's generation skipping, as they call it. That's verbiage that you build into your estate plan. Again, your estate plan or your trust can read however it wants. You can say essentially, I want my grandchildren at the age of 18 to inherit X amount. When they're 25, they must have graduated college. If they have, they'll inherit this amount. At age 30, they'll inherit this much. Those are really, you put your thumbprint on your estate plan. You can say whatever you want to happen when you're no longer here.
Right.
Okay.
That's great. So it's not just I've got a $500,000 policy, but I've got a $500,000 policy, and here's how it's going to be divided, and here's how it's going to be spent if you're going to spend it, as opposed to invest it, etc.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's
Okay.
powerful.
It's so important to have your wishes in writing. You just don't want your family to inherit $500,000 with no instructions. That's dangerous.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
So then you are the type of person with the skill sets that a Tracy or a William can sit with and say, help me plan my afterlife.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's so important. And that, again, that will and that trust, having that in place is essential. You can't, and let me just talk a little bit about the difference between a will and a trust.
Okay.
A will has been around forever. Okay. However, when you have a will and you pass, it automatically has to go through probate. That means a judge is going to decide, make some decisions on your behalf. You don't want that. It's very expensive, probate. It can be up to 40% of your estate. Anyone can contest a will.
Okay, here they come out of the woodwork.
A trust,
My cousin,
exact
who?
opposite. Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, and it's a public document. A will, it becomes a public document.
Right.
A trust does the exact opposite. It's a private document. It does not have to go through probate. No one can contest it. And it's just more financially feasible to have a trust.
And it gives me so much peace just hearing you say that. Yes.
So are these things, quote unquote, expensive to do, to put in place?
They're expensive if you don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I get that question a lot. It just depends on who you go to. Shop
Okay.
around, just interview. If you need to go get an estate plan, interview a few estate planning attorneys. Go with your gut feeling. Look at their pricing. It doesn't just have to be a one and done.
So let me ask you this then. There are like multi-level marketing out there that have this kind of thing attached to it. There are internet providers out
Yes.
there that will offer this as a free service to you. So what am I looking at? Is the quality of the service still satisfactory that I can go and apply myself to that, or should I be looking for a financial planner?
That's a great question, Tracy. I'm a face-to-face person. I'm old school. You can do it online, and let me just talk to that. If you want to be super, super responsible financially, like I don't have the money right now, you can put together your own estate plan, if you will, your will or your trust. I think you go to Staples or somewhere and get the documents. However, you must run that past a estate planning attorney for the legalese of it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Is this valid? Is this enforceable? And then get it notarized and you're good.
Okay.
If you have a smaller estate, you could do that. But if you have a home, or if you're married, or you have kids, and you have china you want to pass along, or whatever it is, a fur coat, artwork, you need some more in-depth planning. You absolutely have to sit in front of someone. It's more to not do it financially than it is to do it.
So I think that's a great little nugget to leave us on in this segment. Speak to the viewers out there that are interested in contacting you about this.
Sure. If you want to contact me, you can actually email me at KevaMoneyCoach@AOL. It's KEV as in Victor A. Keva Money Coach at AOL. And please follow me on Twitter at Keva Money Coach. I would love to hear from you.
Okay. All right. So, William,
Yes.
we got some work to do.
I'm tired now. I'm
Don't
tired.
get discouraged.
Just
No,
thinking about
no.
it.
No, it's a living thing,
Yes,
a step at a
definitely.
time.
A
step at
financial
time.
plan, I write financial plans for my clients. Look at it as your blueprint for your financial success. That's it.
Okay. All
And it's
right.
painless, I promise.
Right. So just like I sit down and I do a resume and a cover letter to plan my career success, I do this to plan my financial success. And here we go, not just for me, but for everyone who I care about.
Exactly. Exactly,
great.
William.
So we have a few minutes left, and I'm glad we do because I did want to touch on the education literacy for the kids, the programs that you were involved in,
Yes.
the ages of the children, the change in their lives. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I have had the honor and the privilege to teach at over 45 HBCUs across the country.
Wow.
That's an honor.
Yes.
It really is. And it's amazing. I could be at a business school and I'm teaching a financial management course, money management course, or credit management. And unfortunately, they're not receiving this information on their college campuses. I essentially share from a credit management standpoint what the students' rights are as it relates to a credit card holder. You know, that little piece of paper that comes with your credit card that everyone throws away?
Right.
All of your rights are embedded in
That's
that
right.
document.
Yes.
And so I educate them with that piece too. The other piece is, you know, how can I say? I'm going to be nice. Sometimes when I get on campus, you know, I park next to a car that may have, 22s on them. Is that what they say nowadays?
Yes.
And I know it's, probably $2,000 worth of rims.
Yes.
And, I talk about what really wealth is,
Okay.
what true wealth is. And so I hope to inspire our young people to become, not calling themselves consumers. That's the psychology around calling yourself a consumer. We're taught to call ourselves that. I want them to look at themselves as savers, money savvy individuals,
Right.
and investors.
Right.
So, the sneakers that our young people love, and I'm not mad at them.
Right.
If you love Nike, go buy some Nike
That's
stock
right.
first.
That's
Right.
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 Yes.
Yes. So, when you're buying that Nike brand, you're investing almost in yourself because you're a shareholder of a publicly traded company
Exactly.
with all the rights that
That's
comes with that.
Exactly.
So you're going to teach us how to do stock trading.
Yes. Well, I do a lot of courses on how to just analyze a stock. Like, how do I know this stock is right for me?
That's right.
Because it's a
Right.
different answer for everyone.
That's a good point.
It really is. And managing risk, that's so important because money is the one resource that we work the hardest for.
Truly.
Right?
That's right.
And so it's like, why not spend the time? You've heard we spend more time planning our
Planning
vacations
vacation.
than
That's
we
where
right.
my mind was going.
July.
That's
exactly
right.
Yeah.
I know it's so cliche,
Yeah.
but it's so
But it's true.
It is.
It really
it is.
is.
But let me share this really quick. I don't know how much time we have left, Tracy. We've all heard of Coca-Cola, right?
Yes.
Coca-Cola went public in 1926.
Okay.
It cost $40 to buy one share of Coca-Cola. In 1926, that was a ton of money. That's a lot of money today, even for a stock. But do you know that one share of Coca-Cola, if we just held it like our grandparents or great-grandparents, had access to this information, that's a
Right.
whole nother show.
okay.
But if they pass that on from generation to generation, just that one stock,
one stock.
take a mad guess how much that one share would be worth today.
Oh my.
One share
Of Coca-Cola,
from the very beginning.
from the very beginning, you pay $40 and you just let it ride.
Compound.
I'm going to go with $100,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to take a guess?
I was going to say 700 million.
Woo. All right. I love that. She's got $1 million on the mind. It's going to be worth well over $1.5 million.
That's wonderful. Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
The reason why I share that, don't be afraid of the stock market. Between 1926 and today, can you imagine every catastrophic event that's ever happened to say run from the hills from the
That's
stock
right.
market?
Yeah.
But yet that stock did that
That's right.
Yeah.
over
That's
time.
right.
Don't be afraid of the stock market. That is where wealth is created.
I was in stock in my 20s and didn't know very much about it, but I knew that I needed to have some. And so I diversified and bought some stock in medical stock.
Okay.
And I watched it and I said, $23, this is ridiculous. I'm just wasting my time. I need to be more aggressive. So I pulled my money out of that. And I guarantee you within a month, it went from 23 to like 367. Do you know what the stock was? Pfizer. Do you know what
Really?
hit that Viagra pill. I said, oh my gosh, I could be able to retire today if I had kept my money there.
And we all have those stories.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know what? I think we're wrapping up our segment, but we're going to see more of Keva Sturdivant.
Yeah, we
definitely.
have to.
Yeah, because we have a lot to learn.
Yes,
I would love it
indeed.
too. Absolutely. It's what I do.
Okay, all right. And we've got your contact information. We know that you're out there in social
Yes,
media.
yes.
And if you really need to get in contact with her and you miss that information, you can always go to mentorme411.com and put in an email request for Keva to give you a call, and she'll definitely get that email.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
So, this wraps up our financial management section.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And I guess there are only a few more things for us to say, huh?
No, not really, except for
Yes,
be healthy. What is it? You got me going
we
there.
together, too.
Oh, it's my tag. Be safe, be smart,
and
be healthy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We both went to the same way. That's amazing.